Hello and welcome to my Christian Creatives and Money course. My name is Shubomi Plumter and I'm going to be taking you through the course. We're now at Module 1 and we're going to take the first lesson, which is about media and generational relevance. I'll spend a bit of time building foundation. So this is not going to be a rush course. I will build foundation both theologically and practically, and then we'll go into the meat of the course. So thank you for joining me and let's proceed. So the most viral forms of media are now powered by the internet. I think it goes without saying that if you're not on the internet, if you're not using technology, you're really missing out a lot in terms of how far your media can go, the reach of your content, your ideas, and your thoughts. Now, let's look at social media. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of Humans of New York, how a simple photography platform or photography concept or idea has now metamorphosed into this massive community. Has also become a platform where people can get financial aid, has become a platform where people can showcase their businesses, their ideas, their dreams. I mean, people's lives and people's businesses have literally been transformed simply because they were randomly featured one day on the Humans of New York blog and Instagram platform. So this is just one example of how viral a story or an idea can go simply because it's on the internet and specifically social media. We also have gaming. A lot of music has been discovered because it's been featured in games. A lot of also stories have been told through gaming. So it's also one of those platforms that has now become interactive. So because games can be played online now, there are multiverses and universes that are created for games now. And you now have player-to-player games, multiplayer games online. You can play with people you don't even know, you've never met online. So that's also and because gaming is addictive, it's actually one of the more addictive forms of the internet or forms of technology. So it's a very, very powerful way to deliver content that is sticky, because once you catch people's attention with a particular game or with a particular concept or story, they stay with you for years and they just keep upgrading from version 1 to version 2 to version 3 and so on. Now let's look at news. It's also a very viral form of media that's powered by the internet. Now almost everyone gets their news on the internet. I mean, gone are the days where you had to wait for network news or you had to wait for the newspaper to find out what was going on. Right now, news breaks on social media first. In fact, we get more news on WhatsApp from people just forwarding and sharing news than we get from traditional forms of news, whether it's newspaper, TV, or radio. Now, video is also very important. You find that even radio stations now have a video format. So while the presenters are in the radio station, there's a live stream. So because they realize that a picture, a video speaks more than 1,000 words. So people also want to see who the presenters are beyond just the audio format. So we're now finding that even radio is now becoming a mixed media format. So it's both audio as well as video. Now let's look at some statistics about technology or media. I'm just building a foundation to get you to understand how extremely important technology is in our age, and why as a Christian creative you cannot afford to be a technology illiterate. Even if you don't like it, you need to make an effort. You need to build capacity within your team. You need to have a technology expert within your team, because that's the most viral form of media. And if you want your content to reach millions, you can't afford not to use technology. Now, if you look at this chart, you'll find that, in terms of the percentage of people that are on the internet, Let's just look at the stats a little bit. Global population is said to be about 7.75 billion, roughly split between male and female. So that's the total in terms of our global population. Now, let's look at how many of those people are on the internet. Now, according to this stat by We Are Social, it says internet penetration has gotten to about 60%. Now, remember, because a lot of internet is on mobile, so a lot of times once you have a smartphone, you're said to already be on the internet. In fact, once you use WhatsApp, you're already on the internet. And what this stat is telling us is at least over half of the population has some access to minimal internet and minimal internet content. That's a really, really massive number. And let's look at the most visited website. I want you to pay particular attention to this, and I'm going to draw a lesson from the next couple of slides. So, of course, we have Google, we have YouTube. Pornography is way up there. That's of particular interest for Christian creatives. Shopping, of course, is there. Video, Netflix, soccer scores, things like that are the top visited websites globally. Now, if you do a chart and you just dimension what percentage is what, you'll find out that 40% of internet consumption is information. People are Googling for information. People are looking for information, whether it's educational content, whether it's news information, whether it's statistics, whatever it is, facts and figures, people are looking for information. So when people say that the internet is just for entertainment, or people are faffing around and just wasting their time on the internet, they fail to realize that 40% of the activity on the internet is actually for information. People are searching for things on the internet. Entertainment, of course, is number 2. So whether it's YouTube, whether it's music, streaming, entertainment comes second, and then social media comes third, and then finally shopping, e-commerce comes fourth. Now let's look at a particular country, Nigeria. Again, this is so that you can dimension your strategies when you're looking at how you can get your content out there. Internet strategies vary country by country. So when you look at Nigeria, you'll find that information, Google is number 1. Betting is number 2. Remember when we looked at the global stats, we didn't see the same trend. But in Nigeria, West Africa, betting is number 2. And then you have video, it goes on and on, more information, shopping, and all of that. And you can see number 19, lindaikeji.com, a very popular gossip blog, is number 19. Now, what this tells you is also the prioritization, what Nigerians prioritize. Information is still number 1. And then you have, betting, but in terms of the volume, when you look at the volume of betting vis-a-vis all the other sites that they visit, it's 5%, but it's the second most visited in Nigeria. You have social media, entertainment, shopping, software, banking is big. In Nigeria, people are beginning to become digital natives. They're doing a lot of their banking and their transactions online. So that's something to watch. Now, if you look at the amount of time people spend on the internet, 6 hours, almost 7 hours on the internet. If something very funny happened to me, I was reading a paper book, and as I wanted to turn the page, I instinctively swiped, because I assumed I was reading on my tablet, because I spent so much time on my tablet, I forgot that I was actually reading a physical book. That just goes to show how habits have changed. 7 hours on the internet. Now, when you look at mobile internet use, 92% of internet traffic is on mobile. So whatever it is you're going to create for the consumer as a Christian, think mobile first. Whatever content, whatever you're trying to distribute on the internet, think mobile. Now let's look at the world's most used social platforms, because this gives you an idea of where your engagement should be, especially if you have a global vision. But like I said earlier, dimension depending on your country. So find out what is the most used social platform in your country. But globally, it's Facebook, and then YouTube, and then WhatsApp, and Facebook Messenger. So if you don't have a WhatsApp or Messenger strategy, I know it's almost taken for granted. A lot of people are active on the major social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, but WhatsApp, chat, because it doesn't use as much data as video platforms. So there are a lot of people that their internet is actually WhatsApp. Their internet is Facebook Messenger. So in addition to having a video strategy, you need to have a chat. How are you engaging people via WhatsApp groups? That's also something you need to note as a Christian creative. Now, let's look at social media in detail. It's where breaking news is heard first. So it's extremely important. Like I said, people hear news on social media first, and a lot of the traditional platforms now source for their news on social media. It's where popular lingo is forged. If you want to influence culture, you want to influence language, look at this one. There will never be another Michael Jackson, the real GOAT, the greatest of all time. So a lot of lingo, a lot of slang, a lot of language is actually formed on social media, becomes popularized on social media. So even if people hear it in a movie, it becomes viral on social media. Let's move on. It's where role models and mentors are found. You can find a mentor. People reach out they have access to people they would never in their wildest dreams have imagined meeting physically. And suddenly social media has become a leveler. You can literally reach out to anyone on LinkedIn, reach out to anyone on Twitter. It's like their doors are open. As long as the person you're trying to meet is active on social media, you have a shot. So it's become a place where you can find role models, you can find mentors that are not even in your country. It's where business connections are formed. People get jobs on social media. People find business partners on social media. So it's not unserious. It has gone beyond the days of people just, spending a lot of time on entertainment on social media. It has now become a business platform. It's where people get a sense of identification. If something has happened to you, chances are you will find somebody else it has happened to on social media. So your experience you're no longer the only one going through your experience. You no longer need to feel you're alone. Once you go on social media, chances are you'll find others who have gone through the same thing that you've gone through. So for a lot of young people, they get their sense of identity and a sense of identification from social media. It's a platform for expression. People talk on social media. People create movements on social media. People express their anger. People express their joy on social media. People challenge paradigms on social media, from rape to misogyny to whatever, feminism to religion to whatever. People express ideas. They challenge paradigms and ideologies on social media. It's also an arena for political activism and advocacy. A lot of young people who feel disenfranchised from the political system can share their political thoughts on social media. They can rally numbers. They can get people, speaking out. They can even get people to, look at the End SARS movement or the Bring Back Our Girls movement. People now mobilize on social media. It's also a wealth creator. Look at the top TikTok stars. Online, people are making hundreds of thousands of dollars from social media. You can be in your house, create content, and have a job on social media. It's also a platform for garnering global attention. You no longer feel that you're limited to your country. You can create content and sell it anywhere in the world. You can create content and get attention from anywhere in the world. You can make a hashtag that originates in Africa, trend in America. That's the power of social media. People find love. People find friendship on social media. I mean, we met on Twitter trend. Someone slides into your DM and 1 year later, you're planning a wedding. That's the power of social media. You also have influencers. One of the things I like about TikTok, and maybe when we get to the next slide, you'll see that a lot of the TikTok stars became stars on social media. So unlike Instagram, where you find that a lot of the stars, if you look at this slide, a lot of the stars are real world stars. So they're actors, they're musicians, they're sports personalities, and Instagram just enhances their popularity. But in the case of TikTok, a lot of these stars were virtually unknown until they got on TikTok. So what it's doing is that it's democratizing fame. It's democratizing influence. If you have solid content, solid ideas, you can literally become an influencer overnight on social media. So the balance of power is changing, and it's social media that did that. Now, in summary, what am I trying to say in this introduction? Social media is a complete ecosystem of thoughts, of ideologies, content, culture, commerce, and relationships. It sits at the nexus between pop culture and mass behavior. You can influence mass behavior via social media. And with all of this, can any Christian creative truly afford to ignore its influence? I think not. I'll see you in the next module. Thank you.